Have you ever had someone ask you, with a mix of concern and confusion, why are you so quiet? It's a question that lands like a gentle accusation, suggesting you're doing something wrong just by being silent. You feel the pressure in meetings, at parties, and even with family, a sense that you should be contributing more noise to the world. For years, you may have wondered if there's something you need to fix, a part of you that's broken or lacking. But what if your silence isn't an absence of thought, but a presence of something deeper? What if your quiet nature isn't a flaw to be corrected, but a complex and powerful way of processing the world? The truth is, there's a whole universe of activity happening behind your calm exterior. And today, we're going to explore the fascinating psychology of people who rarely speak. In a world that often rewards the loudest voice in the room, being quiet can feel like a disadvantage. You're not just imagining it. Our culture frequently misunderstands thoughtfulness for disinterest and observation for inactivity. But that misunderstanding ends today, because we're going to give you a new language to understand yourself. First, we will finally untangle the confusing labels of introversion, shyness, and social anxiety so you can clearly identify your experience. Then, we'll dive into the actual neuroscience of the quiet brain to show you why you are the way you are. After that, we'll reframe your entire identity by revealing the hidden superpowers that your quiet nature has cultivated. And finally, I'll equip you with a powerful framework and practical tools to confidently navigate a world built for noise. By the end of this video, you will not only feel understood, but truly empowered by the quiet mind you possess. One of the biggest sources of confusion for quiet people is the labels society throws at them, often using them interchangeably. So let's clear the air and draw some firm, useful lines between three very different experiences: introversion, shyness, and social anxiety. First, think of introversion purely in terms of energy, like a rechargeable battery. An introvert expends energy in social situations and needs solitude to recharge that battery. By contrast, an extrovert is more like a solar panel, gaining energy from the buzz of social interaction. An introvert might genuinely enjoy a party, but feel a clear point where their battery hits red and they need to go home. There's no fear involved, just a simple biological need for a lower level of stimulation. Now, shyness is different because it is rooted in the specific fear of social judgment. A shy person might desperately want to connect with others, but holds back because they're afraid of saying or doing the wrong thing. While our introvert leaves the party to recharge, the shy person may have been too afraid to go in the first place. You can be a shy extrovert, craving social energy but fearing judgment, or a confident introvert, comfortable with who you are. Finally, social anxiety is when that fear of judgment becomes so intense that it's clinically distressing and actively interferes with your life. This isn't just nerves. It can be a debilitating condition involving panic attacks, avoidance of essential tasks, and significant emotional pain. If that sounds like you, it's incredibly important to seek support from a mental health professional. For the rest of this video, we're focusing on the temperament of introversion, the quiet nature that is a core part of your personality, not a fear to be overcome. Understanding this distinction is the first step, because you can't appreciate the map if you don't know which territory you're actually in. So we've established that your preference for quiet isn't driven by fear, but by your fundamental wiring. This is not a vague psychological theory. It is rooted in the actual chemistry of your brain. Research suggests that the key difference lies in how our brains respond to a chemical called dopamine. Dopamine is often called the reward chemical, and it creates a feeling of energy and motivation when we pursue external goals and rewards. Extroverted brains have a lower sensitivity to dopamine, meaning they need a lot of it to feel good. This is why they seek out high-buzz activities like parties, networking events, and constant social interaction. Introverted brains, on the other hand, are highly sensitive to dopamine. Too much social stimulation quickly overloads the system, making you feel overstimulated, drained, or even anxious. It is like listening to music, where an extrovert needs the volume cranked to 10 to feel the beat, while for you, a 3 is perfect and a 10 is just painful noise. Instead of dopamine, your brain has a preference for a different neurotransmitter called acetylcholine. Acetylcholine is also linked to the brain's pleasure system, but it feels good when we turn our attention inward. It creates a sense of calm reward when you're reading, concentrating deeply, or reflecting on your own thoughts. So while the extrovert is chasing the high-buzz dopamine hit, you are thriving in a low-buzz acetylcholine-rich environment. Your brain is not antisocial. It is wired for depth over dazzle, and for careful thought over constant chatter. There is nothing wrong with your wiring. It is simply a different, equally valid operating system. This unique wiring does not just explain why you prefer a quiet evening. It has also equipped you with a set of remarkable, often overlooked superpowers. While others are busy talking, you've been honing skills that are incredibly valuable in our noisy world. Your first superpower is deep observation. You are not just being quiet in a meeting. You are actively scanning and processing information that others miss. You notice the hesitation in someone's voice, the subtle shift in body language when a new topic is raised, the idea that wasn't fully heard. You are the human data gatherer who collects the rich, unspoken context of every situation. Your second superpower is powerful listening. Most people do not listen. They just wait for their turn to talk. You, however, create a space for others to feel truly heard, which is one of the rarest and most valuable gifts you can give someone. This is why quiet people often have incredibly deep and loyal friendships. You build trust not with your own words, but by honoring theirs. Third, you possess the superpower of thoughtful problem solving. Because you process internally, you don't waste energy on half-baked ideas or knee-jerk reactions. You consider multiple angles, anticipate downstream consequences, and connect disparate pieces of information before you even speak. Finally, your fourth superpower is meaningful contribution. Because you do not speak often, your words carry more weight when you do. Your contributions are often the synthesis of all the observation, listening, and thinking you've been doing. You're the person who says the one thing that changes the entire direction of the conversation for the better. To fully embrace these powers, I want to offer you a simple but profound shift in identity called the observer versus broadcaster framework. For too long, we have used the flawed metric of quiet versus loud. Let's replace it with a more accurate and empowering model based on how we process and share information. Think of some people as broadcasters. Broadcasters process their thoughts externally. They think by talking. They fill the air with energy, generate ideas in real time, and move conversations forward with their output. The world absolutely needs broadcasters. Then there are the observers. Observers, which may be you, process their thoughts internally. You synthesize information quietly, find the patterns beneath the noise, and provide stability and clarity. A team of only broadcasters would lead to energetic chaos with no conclusion. A team of only observers might have profound insights, but struggle to get them on the table. Both are essential. They are two halves of a whole creative system. The most important takeaway is that you are not a failed broadcaster. You are a world-class observer. If this new framework resonates with you, let me know in the comments if you see yourself as more of an observer or a broadcaster. So, how do we put this newfound identity into practice? Let us arm you with a few scripts for navigating a world that defaults to the broadcaster model. Next time someone asks, "Why are you so quiet?" you now have a confident, calm answer. I'm more of an observer, but I'm taking it all in. I tend to process things internally first, so I can offer a more thoughtful perspective. This does not just answer the question, it subtly showcases your value. What about meetings where broadcasters dominate the floor? Honor your observer nature by preparing your thoughts beforehand or sending a follow-up email. You could write, "I've been thinking more about our discussion and I wanted to add this perspective." This allows you to contribute your valuable, well-considered insights without the pressure of instant verbal combat. For so many years, you may have viewed your quiet nature through the world's lens as a lack or a weakness. Today, we've journeyed through the real story written in your neurochemistry and your habits. We dismantled the confusing labels, uncovered the science of your sensitive brain, and celebrated your superpowers of observation and listening. You now have a new identity, not as a quiet person, but as an essential observer. Your silence is not empty space. It is a workshop where depth, clarity, and meaning are forged. The world does not need you to be louder. It desperately needs your thoughtful clarity. Embrace your nature, own your role, and never apologize for the powerful way your mind works. If this video helped you feel seen, subscribe for more insights into the power of your own psychology, because you are not alone.